Hi everyone, Stacy Whiter here on behalf of Campus Mortgage with part 2 of a two-part series on reviewing independent verification for VOEs on Fannie Mae loans. Now just a quick reminder before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice or used in place of Fannie Mae guidelines. Also, this video was issued on August 7th, 2018, and the information contained in this video is subject to change without notice. We know why independent verification is so important for both lenders and investors. Now let's take a look at some things that you can do to ensure that your verification is truly independent. So when it comes to either a verbal VOE or a written VOE, you want to make sure that you independently obtain the phone number. So what I mean by that is don't use the phone number, the employer phone number that was provided by the borrower on the 1003 or number that was provided by the loan officer. Instead, go out and do a Google search and look for the employer online and find maybe their company website or through 411.com or a licensing bureau, but find the employer's main number and call that first to verify the employment. That's the first very important step. Again, as I mentioned, don't use the borrower LO supplied number. Again, that's just that safety kind of backup check to make sure that you are not going to be put in touch with someone who may be giving false information. So go out, Google it, go to the information directory online or maybe to an applicable licensing bureau. Next, document your steps. So, and definitely check your underwriting guidelines on this and check with your underwriters and your company policy. But most companies are okay in the sense where maybe you need to use a cell phone. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you are doing a verbal verification of employment and the employer's name is ABC Company, and you aren't able to verify it through, say, the work number or some other type vendor. You have to actually physically call them. So then what you do is you do a Google search for the ABC Company, and then you call that main number that's listed on the website, and you speak to the receptionist. And the receptionist tells you that the person you need to speak to is John Smith. He is the HR director. However, he is out of the office for the week, but you can call him on his cell phone. So you can do that in most cases. Again, double check your company policy on that, but you should be okay as long as you document your steps. Hey, I went to do my independent verification of the phone number first. I went to Google. I found the company website. I called the number that was listed on the company website. I spoke to the receptionist. They told me that the person I need to speak to is the HR director, and he is getting ready to go out of town, but you can call him on his cell phone. So as long as you're documenting your steps, you're still doing that independent verification. What you don't want to do, though, is if you can't get to someone, is to reach out to the loan officer, to the borrower, and get a cell phone number from them. That takes away that independent verification piece. Also, if you're sending over a written verification of employment form, so in the case where you need to get that written VOE, make sure that you don't put a specific name on that. So don't put to Bob Smith, HR director. The reason why is, again, it takes that independent verification part out. It's just one other safety net. Instead, put either a department or put the company name itself. So in that box number 1 of the form, you would just put ABC Company and HR department, and then email it or fax it or however you're supposed to send it. But that's just another safety kind of mechanism to make sure it gets to the right person. Also, don't ever ask for help from an interested party. So what I mean by that is if you're in a time crunch, I get it, you're a couple days before closing, you really need to get that final VOE, don't reach out to the borrower, do not reach out to the loan officer, the realtor, the builder, or any other interested party to ask them for help. That again takes away the independent verification part. Also, remember, again, don't let a written VOE pass through interested party hands. So if you get a written VOE that's being emailed to you by the loan officer or the borrower, you really should not accept that. You have to keep it completely independent of them. Also, make sure someone who is not an interested party performs the verification. Typically, that's going to be a loan coordinator, a processor, someone who is not getting some sort of compensation or commission for the loan. And then finally, just make sure that you complete the same steps on the final VOE as you do on the initial. So what I mean by that is if you completed the initial VOE and you spoke to Tom Smith, who is the HR director, you have his cell phone number. When it comes time to do the final, don't just automatically call that same person at that same number. Again, you're putting that safety mechanism in place. Go back, do your full steps of the independent verification. Google the company, call the main number that's listed, ask to speak to the appropriate person who can verify employment, and if you end up getting back to the same person, that's fine. But again, go through those steps. Again, very, very important. All right, that concludes part 2 of this 2-part series. Thanks so much for watching. For more tips and videos, please visit campusmortgage.org to look for their weekly mortgage video tips designed for all mortgage professionals, including underwriters, loan officers, processors, closers, and post-closers. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.